Hey everyone, Britt and Chris Carmichael here, bringing you the Elevated Life series. Woo!
Woo!
So excited to be here. We are back and stronger than ever.
There it is.
It took time for us to adjust and get back and settled into this new place, and now we've got a routine, and Mercury is out of retrograde. How exciting. So action, it's time to move forward, and it's a new moon in Sagittarius. So today's topic is kind of all about telling your truth, and that's what Sagittarius is about. I know Chris is like, astrology, what? But what I find fascinating is the topic we're going to share with you today is the #1 way to effectively communicate. And Sagittarius is all about speaking our truth, and Mercury, which has just gone direct, is the planet of communication. So it just seems really appropriate that we're talking about that today. And we get asked all the time, like, how do I talk to my partner? Or how do I talk to people at work? There's so many different ways in which we show up in communication with different types of partners. So we're excited to share with you today.
Yeah, communication really is so vital to everything, because how we communicate ends up being how we're able to express ourselves, and how we express ourselves eventually leads to how people interact with us. It's our communication that brings about great relationships. It's our communication that brings about communities and coming together and going for a common theme or a common purpose or reaching the same kind of goal together. That's how you motivate and inspire people. It's all through communication. And so our biggest tip, the way to effectively do this the most, because in communication, you're going to be conflicting against what the other person believes or thinks. So it's going to be an interaction. The #1 tip is to stay calm.
Yeah, and this deals with your throat chakra. So this is really a major energetic area that we're dealing with. And if you've had issues with speaking your truth or standing up for what you believe in, then you will most likely have issues with the throat chakra and the blockage of it. And staying calm, it's hard to stay calm if you're blocked and your energy scattered. So we're going to share 3 ways in which you can stay calm during your communication, because we all know, okay, well, I can stay calm, but when someone's coming at me crazy, how do I do that? And we're going to share 3 tips. And also, I just thought of the plexiglass routine. That I feel like that will really help them. So we should share that at the end.
All right.
Okay, cool. We've got a little surprise for you that will really help you in your communication. So the first thing that you can do to stay calm is don't react. Don't immediately jump into defensive mode where you're like, well, that's not me, and blah, 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 blah. Because first you want to take a deep breath and pause, because this isn't about you. And when you give yourself that space to respond rather than react, it's so much easier for you to effectively communicate what it is that you want to say versus just defending yourself. And I want to say a quick shout out to Erica. She says it is her birthday month.
Oh, yay.
Whoop.
Happy birthday month.
So, and Jennifer says, love your hair, Chris. We just tried a new product on him this morning. It's called Sea Sugar by Color Proof. It's the vegan hair care that I use in my salon. So we're trying it out. Thanks for the compliment. And if you're tuning in, say hello. Where are you watching from? And if you know someone who would be inspired by this message, then please tag them below. All right, the second way.
All right, the second way is to ask questions. Asking questions is so good because it pivots the conversation. A lot of times, like Britt said, in not reacting and taking that pause, we react a lot of times because for a lot of years, we're really used to talking to authority figures, people who are higher up in some way. Maybe they're older, maybe they were our parents, maybe they were our teachers. And so what happens is the second that we come up with an idea and then we give it to the authority figures and the authority figures shoot us down, it's really easy to tuck our tail between our legs and run away. But if you're calm and you stay really present and you ask questions instead, a lot of times you can just say, hey, what did you mean by that? Hey, can you explain that a little bit further? And when you start saying those kind of things, people have to refine their concepts. They have to start really forming what their beliefs are, because a lot of people just say things reactionary. And so if you begin to ask them questions, you get to a place where you can really start to understand them, and in that way you can start to communicate. The communication doesn't begin until you've clarified what the questions are and really understood each other. What Britt and I figured out years ago, the big turning point in our relationship, was when one of us asked the other one, hey, what did you mean by that? What were you really asking me? And we realized that a lot of times when we were upset with each other is because we weren't clear in what we were saying. The other person didn't understand it the way that we do.
And we automatically Well, you automatically assume, and assuming is where the problem happens. Instead of asking questions, you jump to an assumption, and then you basically attack in your conversation. So if you start to ask questions, it takes you out of attack and defense mode and gets you closer to the truth of what is trying to be expressed. And when you get down to the core of it, a lot of the times you'll find that what people are saying to you is really a direct reflection of them, because people's words reflect their own thoughts that they carry throughout the day, that they're constantly focusing on.
Yeah, and a lot of times, we've been told no so often in our lives. That's very common. Just to keep us out of danger, to keep us out of harm's way. A lot of people say, "Hey, don't do that. Hey, no, don't do that." Mm-hmm. So our thoughts are naturally really negative. So if you're going to listen to a person, you have to remember that other side of the communication, they could be in a negative space. So once you get them to clarify, once you get to understand what's the deeper thing, like asking them, "Why is this important to you?" And then, why is that important to you? You start to understand, you start to connect on such a deeper level, and that opens up communication. Once you can be present and not reactionary and not get just automatically upset with the person, you can be there and say, "Hey, how do we get through this together? If this were the perfect outcome, what would it be like?" Mm-hmm. And so those questions lead to deeper truths.
Deeper truths, a Sagittarius favorite. All right, let's teach them the plexiglass routine. This really helped me to be able to open up and receive compliments, criticisms, any kind of communication that comes at me. This is the tool that I use, especially when I feel myself going in defense mode. Instead of throwing up walls and shields and daggers, we put up a plexiglass wall. And Chris is going to guide you through how you can do this in your own mind to help protect you from getting into that defensive and hurt. I feel like defensive comes when you feel hurt and wounded.
Yeah, when the criticism hits, we go into defense mode. We just, again, like I said, we tuck our tail between our legs and go into defense mode. So plexiglass, the simplest way to do this is to practice this beforehand. Before you get into communication, practice this. Sit down, close your eyes, and imagine that you're in communication with somebody. You're talking to somebody, and they're saying something negative to you. Well, all you do is you put a piece of plexiglass in between you and them in your imagination, and you let whatever they're saying come up and pop up on the plexiglass. And you look at what they're saying. So it doesn't hit you. It doesn't, the words don't slap you, in other words. And you look at the plexiglass, and then you say, "Is what they're communicating to me valuable?" And if it's not, you just ditch it. And if it is valuable, then you take that in. So in other words, things bounce off. Remember that like I'm rubber, you're glue, whatever you say bounces off me, sticks to you. Remember that as a kid? It's the same idea. We're just using plexiglass now instead of rubber and glue. So
we're more sophisticated.
Yeah,
now.
Right? We're using new things. So you're able to allow that criticism to come up, or the compliment, or whatever it is, and say, "Is this even valuable? Is this person just talking nonsense, or is this something valuable that I can take in and maybe make a change, or look at as insight into how other people are perceiving me?" And putting that plexiglass up there makes it so easy. That way you're not stung by the thoughts and words of other people.
Yeah, I'm curious, do you currently struggle with criticism? Is that something when people offer feedback to you, whether it's positive or negative, does that emotionally move you or poke you or make you feel different or question your own worth? Because this is a tool that's really going to help empower you if you are struggling with that criticism or accepting it, or even compliments too,
Yeah, so this is exactly the way you communicate. Our biggest tip, again, is stay calm. Yeah. Stay calm through the process. Don't run, don't retreat, because you'll never lead to anything that...
Don't put your boxing gloves on.
Yeah, nothing of substance will come from that. Fighting or running away won't help. You just stand there and deal with it. And you keep clarifying until you get down to what really the issue is. And then from that position, it's just so much easier. No one's, like Britt said, no one's put on the boxing gloves. No one's made the other person angry. And you're able to just move through life so much easier and so much better.
Yeah, I remember, personal story. Chris and I are celebrating our on the 9th, we are celebrating our 12-year anniversary since the day we met. So much fun because we've grown so far. Our biggest problem in the beginning was communication, and that's why we wanted to share the number one way to effectively communicate with people, and that is to stay calm and to not automatically get in defensive mode or assume what you think they're saying to you. Ask questions, get to the deeper truth, because what I realized in our relationship is that we wanted to be on the same page. Chris would say something sideways to me, and I would get extra defensive because I didn't know how to handle feedback. And I would clam up and not talk for 2 days, and the inside, my soul was just crying the whole time. I just want to hug him. I love him so much. Why are we doing this? I don't want to fight. But I was on the outside being tough. And what I realize now is that that was not tough, that was just a lack of communication and not staying true to what is in alignment with what we chose in this partnership. We want to have fun. We want to be together. So thanks for sticking around for 12 years and learning how to talk to me and not get upset when I'm PMSing.
And too, it's tough in the beginning because we take things so personally in life. Every single thing is somehow some sort of personal attack on us, and it's not. It's really not. A lot of times it's just trying to get people's thoughts to come out into a pattern of words that we can understand and talk to each other about. And in the beginning, it's tough to stay calm. It's tough. That's why we practice the plexiglass thing. That's why we take that deep breath, or take a few deep breaths before we respond. That way it gives us a little bit of time to process it. Let the emotions calm down a little bit, and then let us process it, and then let us talk about it. Total game changer. I mean, it's the difference in us staying together and us breaking apart in the beginning. It was because we had that realization.
And because we had that realization, we now have a happy relationship where we never fight. We were recently asked by someone in our family, like, you guys fight, right? And we looked at each other like, no, never. And they kind of looked at us like, is that real? Is that even a thing? And it's because we've learned to effectively communicate. And we know our intention in this relationship is to be each other's best friend and to be on the same page. And that ultimately leads to happiness.
And it also doesn't mean that things won't come up. It doesn't mean that like we don't have ever
things
where
we definitely disagree. But we just don't take it beyond that.
Yeah, we look at the world differently, and because we're different people, and so that's always going to have a clash in ideas. But that doesn't mean we can't express those ideas without burning the walls down. Yeah. So all this is about controlling your emotions. And in our membership club this month, actually next week on Tuesday, we are teaching a masterclass on happiness. So if you've had happiness issues in the past, if you've said, hey, I've been living too much of a negative life, just ask yourself, am I living a life that's as happy as it could be? Because if you're not, come join us for our live masterclass in our membership club, where we will teach you all the tips and tools and tricks to create happiness in your life. Remember, you're not going to get it from somewhere else. It's not something that's external from you. It's something that you're going to generate, and we will show you the exact strategies for generating happiness in your life. Yeah, it is your choice, and we're going to empower you to make that choice, and we're going to show you exactly how. So if you want to come hang out with us next week, virtual, it doesn't matter where you are in the world, we'll be joining you live inside our monthly membership club. You can join for only $22 a month. This is something we're so excited to share, is that we've cut the price over in half, like over 50%. So it's now $22 a month, so that you can access our training and help you find that strength within you. Because here's the thing, it's all up to you. And if you want to live an elevated life, you have to choose it and start taking that action. And I know you're someone that's ready to do that. Yeah, and again, it's all about mindsets. All this stuff is about your mindset. How to communicate is about a mindset. It's something that you're going to control. Your happiness in your life, when you start to take responsibility, you realize this is all up to me. If I'm not feeling happy, it's up to me. I'm the hero. I'm the person who can change these things. And if you don't know how to change them, we want to invite you to a space where we will teach you how to do that. We'll show you exactly the step-by-step, and it's easy. The processes are very easy, but if you don't know them, you don't know them. And you go through life feeling like, why do I feel this way? Well, it's because you didn't know the process. Once you know it, you're like, no, I just feel happy whenever I want to. It's such a great tool to be able to use in your life, because there are going to be times that are tough. And being able to turn on that positive emotion helps you get through those kinds of times so much easier. You don't keep on the spiral. You say, hey, what good can come from this? How can I make my life into something wonderful? Yeah, so if you want to join us, we'd be happy to serve you. Yeah, that's my favorite question. What good can come from this? And remember, when you're having that communication with someone, ask yourself that question. What good can come from this conversation? And how can I uplift it? And how can I bring more love into this conversation so that we can get to the truth of our expression and really get to where we want to go. So beautiful. Thank you so much for tuning in. It has been so fun joining you here on the Elevated Life series. If you know someone who would love this message, please tag them in the comments below or share it on your wall. We appreciate your love and support, and we will see you guys soon. Bye guys. Hopefully in the membership club, guys. We'll see you on Tuesday.